Okay, we're on the next page. What is a function? First, we're talking about domain. Domain is the set of all possible input values, x. Our range is the set of all possible output values, y. Domain and range. We're writing. We'll get to the graph here in a second. I've got some special notation here. We're going to define things as all real numbers, and we can use this funny R. This funny R is just mathematical notation for all real numbers. You can write out all real numbers, or you can write out this mathematical notation.
What is that? What is that?
It just means all real numbers. This means integers. What's the difference between real numbers and integers? We'll continue. A function. For every input, there is exactly one output. And we can check our graph with the vertical line test. And if you want to abbreviate it, vertical line test, that's totally fine with me. I would write it out right now, so you're not looking at your notes later saying, what does VLT mean? Let's say I sketch this graph. The vertical line test is where I hold my pencil and I move it through my graph. And my graph is only touching my pencil one time. Did we see that? It's important that we see that. I'm going to move my pencil through my graph, and it's only touching the graph one time. So it passes my vertical line test, which means this would be a function. It is a function. I'll sketch the vertical line test. I move my pencil through my function, and it only touches at one point. Can you think of a graph that might fail the vertical line test? A vertical line, good. Yeah, what else would fail a vertical line test? What do you got, Sam? A looping line, like a circle? Yeah, that would fail our vertical line test. A vertical line itself, some kind of oval or circle, this fails. Fails our vertical line test. Okay? Questions on our vocabulary? Domain, range. You're going to start seeing these in the problems. List the domain, list the range. Does it pass the vertical line test? Is it a function? We're going to start seeing these things and using these things. Questions? Okay. Right now we're going to do the check for understanding with our group. You're going to do 1 through 3, and then we'll check in a few minutes. Start by reading number 1, please. Yeah, this is our output, so I'm going to set it up as 3 equals 7x plus 13. So it is our output. We're going to solve for x. For number 2, we're putting it in.
And what's the first one?
We're putting in 10 for x.
I got those two.
Oh, the very first one? It's just asking, is this a function?
Yes. -3 over 1.
For a function, it says for every input, there's exactly one output. For every input, there's exactly one output.
How do I know?
Do you see how 3 is repeated here?
Oh, I didn't.
3 has 2 outputs. So this is not a function. This is not a function. 3 has 2 outputs. Good questions. I'll give you more time to finish the graph. Yeah.
When you're asking us to do the domain and range
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so do you do sig figs?
No.
Right here. Okay, so it's basically saying what's the median point and
Hopefully you see that this passes the vertical line test. Are we okay with that? It's an absolute value function, which we'll be getting into eventually, here pretty soon. It's an absolute value. Y equals the absolute value of x. We'll be graphing those soon. But it passes our vertical line test. It is a function. The domain. What do you think the domain is?
-4 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to 5.
You had -4 to +5. Did anyone else have that?
Put like a Y right there.
Yeah, we don't want y because domain is x. We will use y for the range. What's the smallest y value here? 0. So I'm just going to say y is greater than or equal to 0. Y is greater than or equal to 0 because it's going on forever. Okay, so we'll start practicing identifying domain and range from a graph. Do you need more time for part C, or do you think you got it? What's f of 5?
4.
We go to 5, we go to the graph, the output is 4. Fantastic. This last one had us confused the other day, I think on a homework assignment. It says find x when the output is 3. So I'm going to draw a line here. I'm going to draw a line. And what is the x value when the y value is 3?
-2 and 4.
-2 and 4. Questions about functions?